Hello everyone, my name is Griff, and today we are going to be going over the newest showcase, the Prize Showcase, which features Grimnir and Rose Queen, and answering the question of Soju Shaman. Now, this is the third when the banner goes live, and I did want to wait a bit to see some of the impressions of these two units, because Rose Queen has a sort of unique effect that I wanted to check out more, and I also wanted to check out Grimnir a bit more, and I can't come back with a pretty concise answer, and I'm going to be honest, the answer I'm coming back with is not one that I wanted to hear, so it's a bit unfortunate. But before we go into that, I do want to talk about the Ascent to Eminence, which is now live. So in case you've never played this event before, the Ascent to Eminence, when it will load in, the Ascent to Eminence is a upgrade event. During the Ascent to Eminence event, you can play the following two exclusive quests to get exclusive drops, Ascent to Power and Ascent to Fortune. Essentially, both of these cost about 10 stamina, I believe. Maybe they cost less now. We can actually go and check, because I actually haven't done it yet, so let's go and check it. I believe is there a story? Okay, so they cost 6 this time. They basically just give you resources to upgrade and resources to they give you money essentially on both. Either one quest gives you resources to upgrade, one quest gives you rupees. So it's pretty good if you need to grind those things out. The Ascent to Power is decent. The Ascent to Fortune is technically worse than standard high dragons, I believe. At the moment, it's about 50k worse, I believe, since they both cost 6 stamina. At the moment, it costs less, but it's an easier way to do it than the standard high dragons if you can't auto those content with gold Fafnirs. If you can auto this with gold Fafnirs, you take that trade off about 50k per run for essentially being able to do the quest easier. So not too much there, not much to cover at least. Just wanted to talk about it, make sure you do it, get your clears, grind out whatever you need. But going into the prize showcase, I do want to say that this banner does last until the 13th, which I don't know if it says right here. Lasts until the 13th. We have free summons up to that date, meaning that you will get 10 days of free summons, essentially. So you will get one pity break or one pity increase from your singles. So if you are planning to summon, I would wait till last day, get your pity increase, get your 10 free gifts, get your 10, adventures, whatever dragons, whatever you happen to pull in those. You might get a 5-star, you might not. So going into Grimnir, he is a Wind Lance. Now, yesterday I would have said Grimnir being a Wind Lance kind of doesn't matter in a sense, because we do have a lot of competition. We have Silas essentially, who is probably one of the better Wind Lances in the game. But Christy and Halloween Melsa aren't that great in terms of what they can do, and even Silas isn't that great, so he does sort of have an ability to, be a DPS Wind Lance. Unfortunately, they also announced the newest Trial of the Mighty, which is limiting us to Wind Lances and Mana Casters. And currently, there is only one Wind Mana Caster in the game, which is for Joachim, who I don't have. And additionally, you have to use Wind Lances, which I just said there's only 3 5-star Wind Lances. Sorry, there's only three 5-star Wind Lances in the game currently, not including Grimnir. So if you don't have any of them, you might need Grimnir in order to clear this content, because essentially you'll be only left with a few 4 stars, maybe 3 stars, and a staff. So maybe that is a reason for you to pull. Maybe it's not, but it is something to keep in mind that there is content going forward where he was essentially made to excel. Going forward, we have his first skill, a Turning Storm, which deals damage to enemies directly ahead and inflicts Stormlash. So he's a Stormlash enabler, pretty decent. When the Brewing Storm level 5 effect is active, a more powerful version of this skill will be used. And you can see that the hits down here, essentially they cost the same SP, but you do get more damage on both parts of this. It is pretty cool to see that. The difference actually isn't that much, because if you look at this, you can see this one's 900 damage of 1, and this is 8 hits of 125, and then it's 3 hits of 312, and then it's 2 hits of 500. So it is more, but it's not as much as, some other powered up versions of skills. The SP cost is a little high, 3k is a little bit, but, it is what it is. Then we have Full Storm Tempest, which is scarable. It says it deals damage to multiple targets and enemies near those targets and draws them together. It does 309 hits for 900, just under 9,000 shared skill energy, and 9,000 skill energy, and the shared skill energy is in the 1400s. So, all in all, the skills don't look that impressive, if I'm being completely honest. Notably, he has Stormlash, and he has this Brewing Storm effect to get a powerful version of it, but all in all, the skills don't look too impressive. It's really when it comes into his passives that he really shines as a character. So we have here his co-ability, which is 18 HP plus 15%, which is standard on standard on Lances. And someone noticed yesterday that I said Rage of Chthonius about 3 times in a row instead of Rage of Kronos. When I record, my brain completely slips. But we do have his HP effect, and then we have his Shanko ability, which is win combo time. I don't remember who has win combo time, but I believe there is someone who does have this effect. Essentially, this just reduces the delay between combo by 2.5 seconds, which is going to be extremely beneficial for him. So we'll see here, Forbidden Power within 2. Grants the user a Brewing Storm effect every time they execute a 100-hit combo or defeat 5 enemies. Brewing Storm has 5 progressive, more powerful levels. Level 1 increases attack by 15% for 60 seconds, level 2 is 20, level 3 is 25, level 4 is 30, and level 5 is 50. So if you're at level 5 of this, it increases your damage output by 50%, which is pretty substantial. Additionally, he gets the more powerful version of his first skill on this, and then if we look at his third passive, we'll see extends the window between hitting an enemy and the combo counter resetting by 2 seconds, and when Brewing Storm level 5 effect is active, creates a vortex around the user that deals damage to surrounding enemies. So he gets this vortex effect, he gets a stronger skill 1, and he gets a 50% damage increase by getting a 100-hit combo or defeating 5 enemies. He also has freeze res, but that's pretty basic. The real shiner of his kit is this effect. Now, in practice, this is harder to get than it sounds, because essentially, even in Jadabraoth, which is basically the fight made for him, which has a bunch of little enemies in it, and it has a bunch of things that he can combo off of, it's hard for him to get to level 5, because even by defeating 5 enemies, it's hard, and getting the 100 hit, even with a 4.5 second window, because you have 2.5 here and you have another 2 on here, it is hard to get this to level 5. However, there is a workaround for this, and it is Rose Queen. So Rose Queen is a wind dragon, and her skill says deal damage to surrounding enemies and summon 5 enchanting roses. These roses will deal damage to surrounding enemies for 10 seconds before wilting and then disappear after an additional 10 seconds. Destroying a wilted rose will restore HP to the user who destroys it and will count as defeating 5 enemies. So, essentially, you put the 2 of these together, and she's able to use her skill, which puts down these 5 roses. If Grimnir destroys all 5 wilted roses, that counts as him defeating 25 enemies, which will instantly put him into his level 5. So as you can see, they made this dragon and unit to synergy with each other. It's pretty blatant how much they're made for each other. And then her aura is strength plus 70%, which is already better than some Generation 1 dragons. And then she has Slayer strength plus 2%. If the user is attuned to win, increases strength by 2% for every 5 enemies defeated up to 5 times per quest. So essentially, you use her skill, Grimnir defeats all 5 of them. He gets level 5, which increases his damage by 50% for 60 seconds. She gets an extra 10% damage, so now you're at plus 80% damage. And he gets the Cyclone, and he gets the impressive skill 1. Now, again, in practice, this does not work out as well as I thought it would on paper. In practice, her damage output and his damage output is not as notable as I would have expected for them being so synergistic. You know, her having this effect, her having this aura on paper, or theoretically would have made up for having a less beneficial dragon like Midgear Stormer Zero or Galazephyr for Grimnir, because he would also get this 50% damage increase. In practice, it doesn't. And in practice, he has better dragons that he's used for, and also in practice, it's nearly impossible for him to get this level 5 without her. So he's kind of in an unfortunate place where he can't use the best dragons in his element to catch up, and he's almost handicapped by the fact that he really has to be at his full potential, use Rose Queen. Which means that if you're summoning on this banner, you need to collect both Rose Queen and Grimnir in order to get Grimnir to his highest potential. Now, all in all, I think he is a decent unit, and I think he might be a decent backliner. He inflicts Stormlash, he'll be comboing, he'll give himself combo time, he'll give the team combo time. If you have some sort of double hit or over damage on your comp, you have the shared skill you're running, it will make it easier for him to get that combo time up. But all in all, I don't think that you should summon here past the 10 singles. Neither of these units are limited. Neither of these units are really going to break the meta or fix things that we wouldn't otherwise be fixed within Jaldabaoth. If you do need help in Jaldabaoth, maybe that's a reason to summon, because if you don't have any like Stormlash Punisher units or any Stormlash units at all. But as I'm saying right now, I would not summon on this banner past the singles unless you want this unit for who he is. Of course, if you like the character, go for it. There's a lot of people who will go for it just because they like the character, just like they did with Vania. But that's going to be my impression of this event and this banner. Thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.